Today we're going to be replacing the Traxxas VXL motor in our four-wheel drive Slash because we ended up getting it wet, and even though it is waterproof.
Basically, we were out running trucks at the park.
Yeah, and then
one thing led to another, and the Slash ended up underwater for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Until we found a pole long enough to reach in, grab it, drag it out. It survived. I mean, as soon as we dragged it out, it still worked.
Yeah.
We pulled it out,
and then
threw it down, drove immediately, drove right off, no problems.
And then we did have to end up keep bumping it just a little, but after that.
Yeah, what do you mean by bumping it?
With my car.
Why do we have to do that?
It stopped.
What stopped?
The car.
The car? So
we
pulled the trigger. We pulled the trigger, and then nothing happened. But if we kind of bumped it with the other Slash,
then it would start going.
We kind of kickstart the motor, and then it would go again. And then we ran it 1 or 2 times after that, and then finally got to the point where anytime that the truck came to a complete stop, it wouldn't work at all.
Yeah.
So we had to keep kicking it.
And then it was only half power, so it was like.
Yeah.
It was time.
So at that point, the motor was pretty much done. We decided it's time to replace it.
Yeah.
Now this is actually the second motor we replaced, the second VXL.
Yeah, second VXL. So the motor in my Traxxas Slash, right, this one, bring it down for you. And that one. While we're running it, it also fell in the water. So this is months and months later. It ended up burning out. We went outside, ran on the road, probably went down the road like once or twice, and it just stopped. Then you tried to go and nothing was moving. So we did end up adding the same kit that we have right here. This QuicRun brushless combo. And there you have the 10BL120 ESC and the motor. Hobbywing 3660 brushless 3S. And so it can basically do what the VXL can do, but just a little better. The only thing that is not great is the reverse on this. So unlike the VXL, where you could, whenever you're at a complete stop, you can just reverse. With this, you have to fully brake and then reverse before you can end up going in reverse.
And you almost have to do it exaggerated.
Yeah.
It almost feels like clunky, where you have to go all the way to brake, wait a second, and then hit full reverse again, and then it kicks in reverse. Because a lot of times it feels like, hey, this thing won't reverse, there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's just sort of a delay between braking and then hitting it again to get it to go in reverse.
Yeah. And you really have to, if you are using the Traxxas controller, you really do have to push the trigger all the way till it hits the end of the receiver.
So as far as comparison, we're looking at this Hobbywing versus the VXL. So we've already blown up 2 VXL motors. Why did we choose Hobbywing instead of Traxxas to replace with?
Really, it's just way cheaper. The price difference is massive. You have $90 for the combo, and $170 for the Traxxas motor and ESC. One thing that this ESC doesn't come with, and it's one of the very few dislikes of this motor and ESC combo, it does not come with a mounting plate.
A couple more differences you probably want to point out. What's the KV difference? So when you look at this motor, the Hobbywing versus the Traxxas, are they the same? Are they different?
This motor is 3,700 kV, and the other motor, the Traxxas stock motor, in the other car is only 3,500 kV. So that is really good for like the price of it. 90 versus 170. That's really good.
Are there any other big differences between the Hobbywing motor and the VXL?
Oh, the shaft size is definitely there. So do we? Yeah. We have 3 pinions. The shaft size on this is 5 millimeters, and the shaft size on the Traxxas stock motor is 3 millimeters. Right?
So yeah, right. So basically, what we had to do was get pinion gears that work on the Haas, because I believe the Haas has that 5 millimeter shaft. So when you upgrade the Hobbywing, if you get the 5 millimeter shaft, then get Haas pinion gears. Works perfect.
We did go a little overboard with it. We do have this 20 tooth pinion, which is monstrous. It's the biggest thing Traxxas makes. You can also get pinions from other brands that has a 5 millimeter shaft. It doesn't super duper matter. It doesn't really matter. Then we also have the 17 tooth pinion and 14. Is that it?
Yeah, I think 13 I think is the stock.
13 is stock. That's what we have in this motor right now. It's pretty good where it's at. We might try to bump it up and see if it's too much or it's good where it was before. But the way I'm thinking is you should, if you are looking into getting a motor for this for your Slash, I would get a 13 tooth pinion and then start going up by 1 or 2 teeth before you try anything too big.
Now, this being a 3700 kV versus the Traxxas, which is a 3500 kV, if you use the same pinion, the same 13,
it's going to be
a
faster.
Tiny bit more speed. And we've compared them. So we've run this with the Hobbywing to my Slash, which is the VXL, and this one's a little bit faster.
A little bit faster. It's not a huge difference, but if you do like a drag race with them, this will win by a little bit.
Yeah. And then the last thing we wanted to point out, or you should probably talk about for a second, is when you get a Hobbywing, you can tune it. You can't tune a VXL.
A lot. There's so many settings and options with this. If there's a couple different things you could get to tune it, they just have like the little things that says option 1, option 2, this is what you get and that. And you do have to look at the instruction to figure out like what setting it is on. But then they have this nicer one. I can't particularly remember how much it is, but it is a little more pricey than the one that you have to look at the instructions. But it does tell you what you're on.
What setting? You're talking about the programming card.
Yeah, the
when
programming
you go to program it, the cheap one, you just have to look at the book so you know what number and which item when you program it.
Item.
But there's a nicer program where you're saying, and that actually tells you what item. So for example, if you're configuring punch, it's going to say punch. You can turn it up or down without having to look it up on a piece of paper.
But the cheaper one, it's going to say item 1, and you have to go look at the instructions on the motor and say, oh, item 1 is punch. And then you go to item 2. But the nicer one will say, oh, item 2 is brake. But you have to look in the instructions for that.
So speaking of punch, we turn the punch down.
Yeah.
Why? Why would we turn the punch down?
If you do not turn the punch down, this will wheelie. I think one of the main reasons it was wheeling is because we did have street tires on this. Because for a while we turned this into like a real street Slash more of. You want to grab those? So these street tires, they're just some cheap Amazon ones. We probably were like $25 for four. So they're not super expensive. There are some like Traxxas ones, and probably the nicest ones are probably Pro line, but they're probably like $70 for all 4. So that is why we chose just these cheap Amazon ones to see if we like them. And if we wanted to stick with them, and if we did, then we'd probably go up to either the Traxxas or the Pro line. And they were super grippy right off the bat, which is why they were wheeling.
Yeah, and it was almost to the point where it wasn't even fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you would punch it and it would just flip over on its back.
Yeah.
So we decided, let's turn the punch down so you can take off without going crazy, but then once it starts rolling, then it puts power on.
Yeah.
So it works pretty good.
It also scratched up the body super bad. Right when you punched it, it would like skid super hard on the body. And one of the main reasons we switched back is we have this clipless body, and these tires, I don't know about the Durtrax and the Pro line, but they stick out a little farther than the other tires, so it would be rubbing on the edge of your Slash body. If you do have like the stock Slash body, it would rub right here and kind of grind it down a little. So that's why we did these, switched them back to these instead of these street tires.
Okay.
Alright, so now we're going to unbox these and show you what's in it. First, we're going to put in unbox the ESC. There we go. Now this ESC does have a XT60. If like us, you are still using the Traxxas, what do you call it?
I think it's called the Traxxas connector.
Traxxas connector,
Yeah.
TRX connector. They make some stuff that you can just solder on.
One way is you can get the little connector without soldering.
Oh yeah, without.
And you just snap it in.
Yeah.
And then you can use it.
You can also get the
Two ways of doing it. One is the little connector that you can clip in, and if you don't want to solder, you can just use that forever.
Yeah.
But there's just one extra joint.
Uh-huh.
The other way you can do it,
is
cut that off, strip the wires back. If you know how to solder, you can solder on one of the Traxxas connectors. It's just nicer because then it always is there and there's no extra joint to make it work.
You can. Alright. Another thing about this ESC is this fan does not, after a few runs, it starts to make noise and you get grass in there. So I'd recommend to change that. I'm pretty sure they have some more higher quality on like A-Main Hobbies and stuff.
Yeah. This goes into your receiver.
Receiver, super easy.
And then if you want to program it, where's the port to program it?
This right here.
There it is. So you get your 3 pins right there. And the programming card comes with, it's basically just this little servo connector. You can program it there, stick it up, put a battery to it, and then you can change your ESC settings.
Yeah.
Alright.
Here's your manual. You also get some Hobbywing stickers.
Yeah. Alright, what do we got here?
Next, we have the QuicRun 3660 Hobbywing motor. Like we talked about, it's super nice.
And this is our 5th Hobbywing motor now.
5th Hobbywing.
We've had no problems with any of the other motors.
So we have a couple of, so in all 3 of these Traxxas TRXs, we put the 2-in-1 motors because you don't have to have an ESC, just more space, less weight. So.
But though I think they only make the fusions for crawlers.
Fusion, yeah.
And
that's
so
what
they have the
called.
ESC all together in the motor. But on something like a Slash that has a lot more amps pushing through the motor, they like to keep the ESC separate.
Yeah.
All right, you want to pull this apart and see what we got?
So, another thing about this, the design is really nice. Like, I love the red, love the black, and really just this shaft. I feel like this bigger shaft just gives it more durability. Just like hard lands, it's less likely to end up bending.
Mm-hmm. And it does have these nice bullets. So there's no soldering.
Uh-huh.
You basically can take those bullets.
And
Straight into the ESC.
unlike the Traxxas ESC, where you meet them in the middle, this goes straight down into the ESC, so you're not connecting it in the middle.
And there's plenty of length, right?
Plenty of length.
To connect the motor to the ESC on the Slash, there's no problem with.
And even there's a little clip that holds down the wires, so it's pretty perfect if you get the wires to clamp down and it just goes straight into it, really out of the way. That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so at this point, now that we've unboxed it, let's go ahead and
Put it in
the Slash.
Yep.
Okay.
Running mode, forward brake, forward reverse, drag brake.
Okay, so what number are you on?
7.
Okay, get to item number 1. Oh, running mode. Forward reverse with brake is fine.
That's good.
2, cut off voltage.
Oh, we could do 3.
You want to put it up to 5? We'll put that one up to 5, 3.2 volts per cell. So option 2 should be 5.
Oh, oops. That's a value 5.
Okay. 3, punch.
Let's probably turn it down.
It's on level 5. Let's put it on level 3.
3.
Do you remember what yours is on? Okay, if we need to turn down more, we can.
Yeah.
Drag brake is fine. Max brake 75. We'll leave that for now. I can't remember what yours was on. And then let's see, reverse force number 6.
We'll put that on 50.
Let's go 75 on that one.
Alright,
so 6 should be item number 3, and that'll take us up to 75%.
I'm on item 5. Oh. Oh crap.
Number 5 should be 3.
You know, it's number 6.
6 should be
3.
3. Okay.
7. Neutral range.
Yeah, I think those settings are fine for now.
8. LiPo cells auto.
Yeah, auto's fine. And
And
definitely 6 volts there. Traxxas is set for 6 volts. I've heard some people do a 7.4 without problems, but it also can burn up your receiver because it's not rated for that.
yeah.
Okay, save it. All right, all done.
set for race. Yeah, punch too low. You got it figured out? In the ditch?
Where am I punching?
Reverse doesn't seem bad. This actually seems like you have a laser in yours.
So as you guys saw, this car is amazing. The reason this car wasn't out there is having some TSM problems. There's no TSM on it for some reason. We'll have to figure that out in a later video. This one, really great. It has tons of options. So the punch was only at level 3. We turned it down 2 notches, so we might turn it up 1 because we feel like it might need a little more punch. 14 tooth, we think it might be the sweet spot. On the Fox Racing car over there, it has a 13 tooth, but this one has a 14, and we think this one might be a little better. We do have like an 18 and a 20, so we can see if those are better. But yeah, hope you liked the video.